What's going on? What's going on? We got another episode of Cloud9 Talk. But today, kind of a little bit of a sad day. You know, all this new style of recruiting players. Now we're recruiting players from the NBA on two-way contracts. So, it's kind of getting out of hand. Not kind of, it's really getting out of hand on how these big schools and these former five-star players that's now pros that skipped out on college are trying to get their eligibility back. It's really, really tough for the high school kids, even the college kids, to get that exposure because you're going to get somebody that's already played pro, already had that proper training, that next level nutrition. They just used to just having the five-star treatment as far as being an NBA player. Like I said, you got James Najee. He was drafted in the 2023 NBA draft at 31st pick. Now that's damn near a first round pick right there, my 31st. Second pick, the first pick in the second round. So, he started to play at Baylor immediately. So, like I said, we gotta clean this up, college basketball. I don't know if we need to get rid of the NCAA and start our own commission because this is getting out of hand. And all this, I understand people feel like the overseas guys are getting a break with them being a little bit older, but they don't have that college basketball system. So the rules is a little bit different for them. But like American, we have that choice to if you want to play pro or go to school, take that year, but now that the schools are playing NIL, and I know that more schools are getting paid more than most pros these days, but we can't just ruin the college game because of this money. I know money is important. I know money makes the world go around, but still, this is getting out of hand. We can't just let guys that played in the NBA, the kid Trenton Flowers really played 8 games in the NBA, and now he's looking to get eligibility to play college basketball. Now, this is just crazy. James Nagy, he played against Wemby in Summer League. Wemby's going in his third year in the NBA. Now, if you're not ready to get to the NBA, I understand it, but this is college basketball is not a G League. It's college basketball. It's there to compete, get an education, and where you meet your best friends out for the rest of your life. That's where you meet. Sometimes some people meet their sweethearts and all that. It's not to where you just can get a cash grab and on to the next spot. And it started with the portal. Now these rules and letting pros play college basketball. It's not even college basketball anymore. You might as well take out the G League and just make college basketball the G League if you're doing that. And like I said, this is just getting out of hand. What's the point of having eligibility if you're just gonna let pros in the college basketball? It hurts, like I said, the high school kid, the JUCO kid, and even the college kids. Just going against pros. It's just cheating. I just think it's cheating at the end of the day. So let me know what your thoughts is in the like, share, in the comments as well. The Cloud9 talk, but man, we got to talk about this, man, because this is just getting out of hand, man. Like you got, like I said in the last power pod, 25-year-old Kyrie Walker, he was a former five-star trying to play college. Now he's getting recruited by college basketball programs, and this looks bad on the coaches too as well. Because like I said, if you a coach trying to recruit this player, damn, you that thirsty to get a pro player, y'all losing that your job that on the line. So like I said, like Izzo said, man, you gonna have to call Scott Drew because I want to hear what he got to say too. Because that's just come on, man, you better than that, man. You've been getting pros the road, traditionally with the one and done's. Just what's wrong with that? I know people are tired of overhaul with the roster. This is why they're getting overhauled even more because you're getting pros to play in front of college kids. And like I said, the pros, not to say the pro ain't that good at that level. Maybe it's just a log jam of positions and all that, but still, you can't do that, man. It's just cheating. Like I said, I'm not a fan of it at all. And we'll touch back on that later in this episode. But today, man, let's talk about understanding the transfer portal. A lot of people like to just hop in the portal and just think things is going to be sweet. It's not always sweet. Look at AJ Stewart, was a very talented player. He transferred to St. John's first, did good there. Transferred to Wisconsin, was an all first team, Big Ten, all conference in that Big Ten, led Wisconsin to Sweet 16. Left Wisconsin, took the bag to go to Kansas. didn't have a good year at Kansas. Actually played so bad that he was kind of literally out the rotation. Now this year he's playing for the Ole Miss Rebels under Chris Beard, and they're about 500. So like I said, when you do all that transferring, like I said, when he was at Wisconsin, that was as high as the stack was. But once he went to Kansas, now he's at Ole Miss. Now he just lost in the shuffle. So fellas, if you want to transfer, make sure you're making the right decision because, like I said, it can always bite you in the butt in the long run. You might make that cash grab, but now your confidence is shattered, your stock is down. Now you got to rebuild that up. And remember, your reputation is basically all you got. So the higher the level you play, the better the athlete is. So if you are a mid-major guy making that jump like a Xavier Lee, making from the Ivy League is a good conference, but it's not the SEC far as from an athletic standpoint. So we're gonna have to see right now. So like I said, this is just crazy, man. This is just a crazy time for parents and players. And, the agents is running the game now in college basketball. So this is what you get when you let agents run the game. No commission at all. And, you just gotta play smart. One thing I will say, evaluate and fit before you jump. Make that jump. Make sure you go to a team that fits your style. If you're a fast-paced guy that wants to play in a fast-paced offense, don't go to a school just because of the name where you just play. You got to bring up the ball down the court also. So like you got to be very, very quick to know where you want to go as far as style of play, who you playing for, who's coaching you. Can they develop guys to get to the next level? Do they have a history of pros as far as overseas, NBA, G League? Like, what is their track record as far as to get to the next level? Because like when you make these decisions, you have to look at all aspects of the game, as far as on and off the court, to make sure you're making the right decision to get to the next level. So that's all I got to say as far as evaluating fit before you jump. Now, if you a slow pace player, might want to go somewhere, or you gonna have, run the offense, set the table, see where every day service, just make sure everything's serviceable. So, that's one thing you gotta look into as well. Another thing, cultural fit, location, like I said, coaching philosophy and team culture. Make sure you match that team culture. Sometimes everyone's culture is not for everyone. Everyone can't go to UConn. Everyone can't go to Kansas. Everyone can't go to Michigan State. It's not for everyone. Everyone can't go to Memphis. Everyone can't go to TCU. Make sure you go where you know where you can fit, mess with that coaching staff. Location is everything too. If you want to go somewhere where it's sunny, maybe you go to the West Coast. You shouldn't be looking down south. If that's where you initially wanted to go, as far as like a Georgia, stuff like that. There ain't no beach down there in Georgia. Now, South Carolina, you can find you a beach down there. Jersey, you can find you a beach out there. So, like I said, it's more than one location, just the West, the East. East Coast got beaches too. So, you just got to keep that in mind, though. Athletic fit, system, role, competition level. You gotta make sure you got you're going to the right level for yourself, not just because of what your agent or someone else is hyping you up to. Hey, let's get the bag, let's get the bag. This is a good fit. Like I said, you could be right back to where you was at. So you always want to make sure that fit is the right fit. Like I remember when Ali was dominating the MAC, 3 straight years, went to the championship game, went to Butler for 1 year, didn't pan out the way it's supposed to be for him. So, like I said, he's not that athletic as far as in the Big East. He's athletic enough in the MAC. So, like I said, fit is very, very important, though. Just make sure you make that right fit as far as where you can guard your position and you're not having to fight for the position every time you hit the court. So that's the key right there. Sometimes it can be a log jam of talent. You see in the NBA when guys get buried on the bench, they're good enough to play, but they got a lot of guys that's getting paid in front of them. So that's another thing as well you have to look into too, as far as competition level and system style. Because like I said, you can get lost in the sauce in this. Player comp, showing how your game translates to the higher levels. Now, this is a topic where you kind of show how does your skills translate to the next level. Like I said prior pause before, I'm not the biggest Boozer fan. I don't know how his game will translate to the next level, but I think he's a talented player, obviously at the college level. But at the NBA, you're gonna have to have some more than just overpowering players and just trying to go through God's checks. You're gonna have to use more moves and athleticism and skill. You gotta have a skill, gotta have a blend of everything. Like Joker is 7 foot, but he can move and he's nimble and he know how to use his body. So sometimes you may have to just really adjust to like what the game is showing right now. If bigs in your position is shooting threes, that's what you should be working on. If guards are using that snake dribble into the floater, you should use it. Anything that's trending in the league for players, you have to pay attention to that because that's what's getting guys paid. So if that's what they getting paid, you should be doing it too. I don't know why. I don't know why not. You're not doing no different from them. They're pros. When you trying to be a pro, study the pro. I always send my guys tape. I had a guy that I was working with. He's a big. He wanted to show Anthony Davis film. So I want to show him different hooks, different shots that can get him going as far as shots, runners, hooks, stuff like that, pro shots instead of him just rim running, dunking spot, stuff like that. The more you add to your game, the more you get paid. Simple as that. What coaches look for? Kind of back to what I was saying as far as marketability, as far as what agents, coaches look for at the pro level. But what coaches look for as far as just intangibles, guys playing hard, guys making the right reads, moving the ball, body language. Body language is everything. You're looking at everything as far as how you interacting with the coaches on the bench, how you're receiving coaching during the game, how you picking up plays on the fly, stuff like that. So, you got to be very, very mindful of how you move, especially in today's world with all the cameras. You don't want to be a crash show. You want to be known for a crash show. You want to be a good, outstanding citizen. That's what they're looking for when they bring in guys on their campus or organization or pros, though. And in the NBA, they going to go to that janitor that when he was in middle school. What was he like as a kid? What was he like in high school? So they're going to get that information and you better, got to pass the test. That's all about being a pro. It's how being a high character guy. You see what Michigan coach got in trouble. Michigan State coach got in trouble for. Mike Rice, you got to be a high character guy in this space. Got to have a man of integrity. Integrity is everything in this game. I know it's not showing as far as in the recruiting space and what the front office and NCAA is doing, but you always got to maintain integrity and how you handle yourself as a young man and coach as well. Transfer readiness, maturity, leadership, and proven production. And this is another thing what coaches are looking for. Maturity, guys that already have proven production, and also guys that can lead their teams to the promised land. That's what it's about. Player-led teams are the teams that usually win the championship. Because players gonna hold them accountable rather than just that one voice as the coach just tell them to do this, do this, do this. Nah, as a player that's trying to reach the major heights, you gotta hold everyone accountable from the staff, the 12th man on the bench. Everyone's getting it. Coaching up from that because the standard is the standard at all levels. It starts from the front to the bottom. So you just got to keep that in mind. Improving production, guys. They want guys that's winners and that played on the big stage instead of developing on a freshman. So like if you're a young guy, you got to come in like you're a veteran. Can't come in trying to be like, hey, what's this? What's this? You better come in and study that playbook before because guys, time is ticking as far as from the career standpoint and also coaching. Guys getting fired left and right. It's gonna be a lot of coaches getting fired left and right. That especially not getting to a good start. So you definitely gotta be ready at all times. Red flags, poor attitude, lack of academic progress, or chasing NIL only. As you see a lot of guys just chasing the bag NIL, leaving good situation to get a greater bag. Sometimes your talent can be as good as that, like a PJ Haggerty that really hasn't won anything but puts up a lot of empty buckets, averaging over 20 points for his college career, but has zero NCAA wins. So with that being said, gotta make sure you chasing the right thing. He was offering 3.4 million. That's a bit high. It's not the NBA, so you gotta always be mindful as far as having that good attitude on and off the court, making sure your grades is right so you can transfer accordingly and play and stay eligible. That's the thing about academics they live out in this new era. Staying eligible, making sure all those credits transfer when you go into school to school. 'Cause every school don't take every transfer credits. And that's what they don't tell you as well. So, just don't chase that bag. Make sure you get your grades right too. Chase degrees, not just money. Because degrees can lead you to that connection down the road more than this short-term money can. Something to think about. How NIL opportunities differ between mid-majors and high majors. Well, the highest paid player on a mid-major team is probably the lowest paid player on a Power Five team. So that's the difference right there. Power Five, Power Four, whatever it's called now, they can get paid. They can pay millions. They can just open up the blank check. Here, what you want? Here's the card too. Mid manager, they gotta scrap, make sure they make the right reads as far as evaluating talent in the portal, making sure their guy is the right guy. But if you can recruit, retain your player, your best player, that means loyalty is right there. You can kind of, that's when you own your player has a good understanding about the program. He likes where it's at. He has a chance to be a pro and win games, make the NCAA tournament. You can't beat that. So every situation is different. But like I said, if someone's offering you 200K just to come off the bench, that's hard to pass down. 200K, that's life changing money for especially for a college kid. So hey, gotta be mindful of that. Network strategically, don't just portal and pray. Basically, go out there with a plan. Don't just be trying to just enter the portal just because your whole team did. Make sure it's the right move for you. Don't just be a trend and just be, looking for a home. A lot of guys on Twitter saying they're available, still available, this, that, and that. And they're, don't get a chance to play again or got to go JUCO or something. So always be mindful. Don't just always have a plan in everything you do, especially in this new space of college basketball, because this is the wild, wild west. Trust me, it's getting crazy. Also, man, just keep communication with and transparent with current coaches. Always be mindful. Hey, coach, I'm thinking about hitting the portal soon, but focus on the present, and then the future will play itself. So, like, I know you might have that in the plan around, spring break. That's when you start telling your coach, because the coach they got to find players too. So be mindful of that. They got to replace you. Their job's on the line. So keep it real with them. They'll help you find a spot because coaching is a small fraternity. This coach made a coach somewhere years ago. That D2 coach is probably going to be a head coach now. That NIA coach might be a Division One assistant. So you never know who's getting jobs, and they may call, "Hey, I got a kid for you. That's a good kid. Don't be a knucklehead." So you always got to be respectful of who your coaches know, and don't burn bridges. Don't burn bridges that you got to go back to. So that's something I want to talk about, man. This is just helping guys make the right move as far as in the portal and just hey, having a successful basketball career in this new age of basketball. What you like I said, you got pros taking over college basketball, and like I said, we don't know what's going to happen next. All these rumors, false or not, it's something circulating that's bigger than us. And like I said, high school kids, you're gonna have to just keep working and working because this is getting out of hand. And I don't know who needs to step in. Maybe Saban, Coach K Coach K for basketball, Saban for football. The goals, we need some type of security for our players, our game. We got to protect college basketball, and this is just getting out of hand. Like this is just disgusting. As far as letting pros play, God play in 8 NBA games, he's going to be able to play college if he gets eligible. So that's the beast we're feeling. We're going against. Like, share, subscribe if you like more content, though, man. So we will be right back, man, with more content later this week. Love y'all. Like, share, subscribe.